The crime attracted comparatively little publicity when it happened 15 years ago. Now the punishment has attracted the attention of the Vatican. The execution scheduled to take place at this hour inside the Walls unit here in Huntsville. In Huntsville, Doug Miller, KHOU 11 News.
This is not TV. This is not a movie. They're really killing a guy back there. This has happened for real right now. The death warrant could be executed any time after 6 o'clock. Witnesses have already gone in. The process has begun.
My name is Pat Monks. I'm a conservative and a Republican and a damn proud Texan. I'm against any government intrusion in our personal lives. I do believe in the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. I'm definitely pro-life. And today, I'm 100% against the use of the death penalty. And in the time it takes to execute a man, I'm going to give you 3 reasons why. Briggs is a conservative and a Republican. And in 1977, he and his family campaigned to reintroduce the death penalty in California, which now costs his state over $180 million a year.
We thought that we would put a cover over California that would actually deter bad guys from murdering innocents. In 1978, there was 170 thereabouts death row inmates, condemned people. And today there's over 780. So we tripled the population of death row when we thought we would empty it.
You have life without possibility of parole?
Yes, we do. It's called Yard A. And the only way you get off of Yard A is being dead. If the guy's on death row, he costs about $141,000 a year to maintain. You take that same inmate and move him to Yard A, it's $41,000.
So we got 780 prisoners times 100,000 that we could eliminate tomorrow if we put them in Yard A.
Yes, sir.
And that's just California.
Wow. Okay, now, since 1978, do you know how many you've executed?
13.
Did you think it'd be a deterrent to crime?
Yes.
Is it a deterrent to crime?
No. We've tripled the population of death row. Certainly that's not a deterrent.
What do you think the most effective argument that I can give to Republicans and conservatives in Texas on the death penalty issue?
I would just say, think about a government program that costs you $187 million a year. Then that program only benefits criminals and lawyers and does nothing else. What would you do with that program?
Mark White was governor of Texas from 1983 to 1987. He signed off on the executions of 19 men. These days, he's convinced that the death penalty is taking the lives of innocent people.
I was in favor of the death penalty. I believe that it was a proper punishment for a horrible crime. And I thought we were doing a pretty good job of it. But we've learned over the years that we're not quite as good as I thought we were. We have literally several thousand people on death row. Studies have shown 4% may be innocent. The system has to be perfect. It's not.
In 2005, Alfred Dwayne Brown was sentenced to death for murder. 10 years later, following the release of new evidence, he was exonerated of any involvement in the crime.
Dwayne, what was it like to be in prison for a crime you didn't commit?
You're on death row. You know, it's not like you're in jail. You get to see parole. You're on death row. Only thing you're gonna see is execution.
His girlfriend testified before the grand jury that he was home when she left for work that day. and that he made a call to her at her workplace that morning. And there's a phone record there that's highlighted. That's the phone call that she testified about. The record was not turned over until 2013, 8 years after he was convicted. And you know where it was? It was in the home garage of the investigative detective who worked on the case.
The whole time I had been telling my trial attorneys that I called my girlfriend. I wasn't there. They never was concerned about the phone records. They just said we couldn't get them and that was it.
This one piece of paper is what has this man sitting here next to us today. It is not hyperbole to say that, but for the work and the passion we had for this man, he'd be executed.
When they say, oh, but his lawyer should have brought that up in the trial. Well, if this death penalty swings on the quality of a lawyer, I don't see how we can justify keeping the death penalty. The state of Texas and other states can be rightfully proud of doing justice. And justice means you do not execute innocent people.
Like me, Mimi Kelly is a lifelong Republican, opposed to the death penalty. In 1985, her younger brother James was brutally murdered in Nebraska by Michael Ryan, the leader of a religious cult.
Here's his death certificate, and see where it says multiple traumatic injuries? They took James to the hog shed to torture him to death. They broke his thigh bones, tried to skin him, and at the end, Michael Ryan jumped on his chest and killed him.
But Mimi is against the death penalty. Why? Because the appeals process can be a life sentence for the families of the victims.
You're tied to this case and that murderer forever. It's your sentence as well as his. It's in the newspaper, and you have to think about those details all the time. You really want to have James rest in peace. And you don't get to because of all those appeals. Just walk in my shoes a little bit. Walk in the next family's shoes. And that's why we have to get it right now. So the next case, they don't have to do what we've had to do.
Michael Ryan spent 29 years on death row, but he was never executed. He cheated the system and died in prison in May of 2015.
My fellow Republicans need to know that this is not what they think it is.
The death penalty doesn't deliver justice to the families of murder victims.
Offender Richard Masterson was executed tonight. A lethal dose of pentobarbital was administered, and Masterson was pronounced deceased at 6:53 p.m.
That's the 532nd execution in Texas since we reintroduced the death penalty 38 years ago. Like a growing number of conservatives, I think that's enough.
It doesn't protect society. It doesn't save money. It doesn't give closure to the family members. It's just an archaic system that we can no longer afford.